Ang i-discuss po natin today ay centroid of composite shapes. So we have a homogeneous steel component made up of a thin semicircular plate S and a thin rectangular plate R. If the mass of S is 2.8 kilograms and the mass of R is 9.6 kilograms, determine, number one, the vertical component of the center of the composite plate and the horizontal component of the center of the composite plate. So essentially, determine po natin yung coordinates nung G po na yan, no? Kailangan alam po natin yung mga centroid ng mga basic areas po natin. So dito sa problem po natin, meron tayong rectangle and meron tayong semicircle. So rectangle, I'm pretty sure alam po natin yun kasi i-divide mo lang ng 2 yung base tsaka yung height niya to get its centroid. Pero doon po sa ating semicircle, kailangan po natin dyan mag-refer sa lookup tables po, no, ng mga references nyo. So if you have a look sa lookup table, ang makikita nyo po is yung centroid po ng ating semicircle is at 4r over 3 pi. So let's say that's the centroid. That distance is 4r over 3 pi from the diameter. Okay, then kailangan po natin i-subdivide to properly, no? Since sa problem, sinabi na we have two basic elements which are joined together, then we can utilize that information. So yung ating magiging sub-elements po is yung semicircle, which we call S, and yung rectangle, which we call R. Now, pwede na po tayo mag-compute ng centroid. Unahin po natin yung vertical component according to the question. Ito po yung gusto natin, it's Y bar G. Now, yung reference po niyan is yung given na coordinate system na, no? X and Y. And as you can see, yung Y bar G natin is reckoned from the X-axis, which is given, no? Now, yung formula, if you can recall, is just summation ng Q divided by A. Sa item na to, since ang kinocompute natin is Y bar G, then ito yung gagamitin natin. So you can see it's the summation of Q about X kasi ito po yung reference axis natin. Okay? Tapos yung I indicates the number of sub-elements that we're considering. For this case, we have the semicircle and the rectangle. So meron po tayong 2 dyan. So if I expound yung sum na yan, dapat meron akong QX ng semicircle tsaka yung QX ng rectangle. So yun po ibig sabihin ng summation. Yung summation of A sa baba is just the summation of the areas of the sub-elements. Or in other words, yung total area po ng ating composite element, composite area. Right? So ano naman yung Q? Yung Q po, particularly yung Q about X is just a product of the area of the sub-element tapos yung distance ng centroid ng sub-element galing sa X. Okay? Centroid ng sub-element galing sa X. And we call that Q, the area moments about X. So ulitin po natin. Yung A sub I na yan is yung area ng sub-element natin or ng object. Tapos yung Y, that's the vertical distance from the X-axis to the centroid of the sub-area or the sub-element. Okay. Sige, isa-isahin po natin yan, no? So let me just list the given. Tapos, useful po, no, sa pag-compute ng centroid ng composite elements, yung paggawa ng table. Yan. So ano po yung nakalagay sa table? Of course, yung ating mga sub-elements or yung objects, which for this case, yung R at yung S, rectangle, semicircle. Tapos, kailangan rin po meron tayong area ng ating sub-elements, so A sub I, and then yung Y bar I natin. So makikita nyo po itong A sub I at yung Y bar I na yan. Ito yun. Okay? So yung Y bar I na yan, yan yung vertical distance from X papunta sa centroid ng sub-area or ng sub-element. Tapos, if you multiply this column to this column, ang makukuha mo dapat is yung Q. Yan. QX I. Okay, and we have, take note of the units, yung area, of course, mm squared, yung y is mm. So yung unit ng q natin is mm cube. So area times a certain distance. So that should be mm cube. So we're ready to complete the table. Let's start with R. So yung rectangle, first kailangan natin yung area niya. So madali lang kasi yung area is just 40 times 30. And 4 times 3, plus 2 zeros, so you have 1,200 mm squared. Now, yung area naman nung semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2. Yung radius, mako-compute natin from the figure. Since the diameter is 30, then the radius is 30 over 2, which is 15. So pi times 15 squared divided by 2, ito po yan, 353.429, dot, dot, dot. So ibig sabihin po niyan, irrational po yung number natin. Ini-input ko lang, ini-store ko po yan sa calculator para ma-avoid ko po yung mga rounding. Now, punta po tayo dun sa y bar I. So, vertical distance from x-axis to the centroid of the sub-area. Unahin natin yung rectangle. Nasaan ba ang centroid ng rectangle with reference to x? Diba nasa gitna lang naman ng height na to. So we know that the distance from x papunta sa centroid ng rectangle is just 40 over 2. So that's why you can see here, it's 40 over 2. And that is equal to 20, no? And I have to take note that since this centroid of the rectangle is above x-axis, then ito dapat ay positive. So what I'm saying is yung y bar niyan can be positive or negative depende doon sa location ng centroid with respect to x. Since yung location ng centroid ng rectangle is above the x-axis, then this should be plus. So, ganun din po yung for the semicircle, no? Pupunta na tayo dun sa semicircle. Nasa taas din po siya ng x-axis. So, plus din po yung sign ng y-bar ng semicircle. Okay? Just to help you recall, ito po yung figure na pinakita ko kanina. 4 over 3 pi po yung location ng centroid ng semicircle. So, if I just do 4 over 3 pi, remember, r is 15. So, it's 4 over times 15 over 3 pi. Kaya lang, you have to remember na sa column po na to, meron tayong consistent na reference, which is yung x-axis. Ibig sabihin, dapat lahat ng y na ilalagay mo dito, recon from x. Nasaan ba yung 4 over 3 pi? Saan ba siya recon? Recon siya dun sa diameter. Ibig sabihin, yung 4 times 15 over 3 pi, ito lang yun. Kailangan natin galing doon sa x. So, anong i-add natin? 40. Ito na yung buong y-bar na hinahanap natin. Plus 40. Okay, now we're ready to multiply. Again, yung a tsaka I na to, ito lang yun. Yung sa area moment. No? So, 1,200 times 20, you have 24,000 plus 350.429 times 46.366, which is the sum of these two. You have 16,387.17, dot, dot, dot. Tapos from there, simple na lang po kasi mag-a-add na lang tayo ng columns. So first, kailangan mo i-add yung A. Tapos kailangan mo i-add yung Q. Tapos according to the formula, it's the sum of Q divided by the sum of A. So sum of Q divided by sum ng area, which will give you y bar G. Ito po yan. 26 mm. And you box that, because that's now your final answer. Ibig sabihin, yung yung y bar G natin, centroid ng composite element is 26 mm above the reference axis x. Now, it makes sense na above 20 siya. Okay. Bakit? Kasi isipin nyo kapag rectangle lang yung meron. Kapag rectangle lang yung meron, yung centroid niya is at 20 mm above x. Okay? Kapag rectangle lang yung meron. Kapag nagpatong ka ng semicircle doon sa taas, anong mangyayari doon sa centroid? Mag-shift pataas o mag-shift pababa? Dapat mag-shift pataas. So dapat greater than 20 siya. So that's just one way to evaluate our answer. No? Dapat nag-make sense yung mga sagot natin. Right? So that's y bar G. Now we go to yung horizontal component ng centroid of the composite plate. Itong formula, set of formulas pa rin yung gagamitin natin of kaya lang, ito naman yung gagamitin natin si x bar G, no? Summation of QYI divided by summation of A. So this time, yung reference axis natin is Y. Kaya nakikita nyo dito, yung x bar G natin, reckoned from Y. Okay? So I said, maganda na magkaroon ng table. So sa table A, Tapos x bar I naman, so yung mga centroids na kukunin natin is recon from y, okay? Which is x bar I. Tapos yung q, okay? Kaya lang ako masyadong excited. Kasi sa part na to, wala tayong kailangan i-solve. Bakit? Kasi meron tayong existing axis of symmetry. Ayan, pakita ko in naka-dashed line. So, and you have to remember that the axis of symmetry intersects the centroid. Okay? So, nasaan ba yung axis of symmetry? Yun, gitna ng ating shape, which is just 30 millimeter divided by 2, which is 15 mm. So, hence we say, because of symmetry, we say that x bar g is equal to 15 millimeter. And that ends our problem.